Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
So, Sheikh, I'll try to keep it short. I converted recently to Islam, Alhamdulillah, and I'm trying to avoid all sins. But before I knew about Islam, I've been working as a music producer for 4 years, and I even dropped out of college to pursue music career. Now, since my conversion, I stopped listening to the music completely, Alhamdulillah, and I stopped producing any music. But I still receive monthly royalties from songs that are on music platforms, and that is my only source of income as of right now. And I know it's 100% haram, no doubt. I know the music is haram. So my question is, does consuming haram and clothing from haram and eating from haram affect all 5 pillars of Islam? Or is it only Hajj, Zakat, and Dua that won't be accepted by Allah? Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak. That He has guided you to accepting Islam. And this, by far, for you as an individual, is a pure selection from Allah to choose you from all others, from all artists, from all people indulged in haram. Allah chose you specifically to save you from hellfire and from this haram line of work. So praise be Allah, praise be to Allah, the Almighty, that guided you to Islam, and all praise due to Him that He showed you that this haram work is haram and you avoided it. Secondly, what happened in the past is gone and is forgiven, and you've started a new chapter of your life. It's clean, no sins. Regardless of how heinous the sins you've committed in the past, it's gone. Thirdly, the income that is generated from haram is haram nowadays. So whatever you made in the past is halal for you. But whatever is generated after you accepted Islam and you came to know that this is haram income, now it becomes haram. Whatever royalties you get, this is haram money. You have to dispose of it in means of charity to the Muslims. But if I'm in need, I am stone broke, Sheikh, I don't have a job, I don't have anything, charity is halal for me. In this case, the royalties you get, you may take from it whatever sustains a normal standard of life adequate for the likes of you until you find a suitable job, a halal job. The rest of the royalties, you throw it in means of charity. And a footnote to those whom have contacted me and I told them about sponsoring Ask Zad, this program, to cleanse their wealth. And they've contacted info@zad.tv and they have donated money. I say to them and I shout out to them, may Allah Azza wa Jal reward you and may Allah cleanse your wealth from all haram income and substitute it with halal income. Because you have taken the right path of purifying your wealth and going to the right path bi'idhnillah Azza wa Jal. So for you, Muhammad, you can take whatever sustains the normal standard style of living without any extravagance until you find a substitute and a good halal job. Then you have to take it all and throw it away in charity. May Allah Azza wa Jal provide you with halal provision and halal rizq until you are happy and satisfied.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, so basically the elders in the masjid are causing me problems because I'm in the first row and I keep on passing by in front of them. Like I'm not stepping on their place of prostration, but basically on the pathway which is in front of them. And so some of them feel it's quite disrespectful and they're causing me trouble. Like they just keep on telling me not to do this, just to go back or to the corner. But I'm not willing to do that because I stand very close to the Imam. So what is wise to do here?
Okay, first of all, the elders in the masjid have rights over us. And this right is to respect them. The Prophet said, ﷺ, he is not from among us who does not respect our elders and have mercy on our youngsters. Number two, unfortunately, a lot of the elders are grumpy, are depressing, have bad manners. Just because you're over 60 does not give you the right to shout, raise your voice in the masjid, to look down upon people. Who are you? Yes, Islam tells me to respect you. And by the way, I'm over 60, way over 60, alhamdulillah. But still, I see my peers and the way they behave and act, and I feel, praise be to Allah, that I'm not like them. I see how they deal with children. I see how they deal with their wives. I get counseling session of such imbeciles who, just because Allah prolonged their lives, they think that they have a right to control people's lives and to make life difficult for others. And they taunt people, they gaslight people, and especially in the masjid. They raise their voices, they start to collaborate together. They're like, hyenas. They're like the mafia. When they see someone, they all attack. What knowledge do you have, uncle? Zero. Do you know anything of the Quran, uncle? Nothing. Then why are you dictating what to do and what not to do? So this is point number 2. Point number 3, I know, as a grumpy old geezer and a grandfather, that some of the youngsters like you, Ayon, I'm not saying that you are like that, but some of the youngsters, they see the full line and they see a small, tiny opening in the first row. So they start to cross people's shoulders, and this is prohibited by the Prophet ﷺ. And they spread people to just move on and try to go. What are you doing? He said, oh, I want the reward of the first row, next to the imam, behind the imam. Duh, come early. The iqamah is in a couple of minutes, maybe in a couple of seconds. Well, I saw the opening, I'm entitled to go there. No, you're not. You're not entitled to harm people, akhi. But if it is like you are portraying, that there are only 3 or 4 uncles, and the whole masjid is empty, and I'm just walking straight to the first line, to the first row, next or behind the imam, and they're complaining, don't listen to them. But don't be arrogant, don't be disrespectful. Whenever they say, you shouldn't do this, you have to go to the back of the masjid, you should not do that. You said, okay, uncle, okay, thank you, Jazakallah khair. Ignore them and sit. Again, we have to look at both views, weigh the pros and cons, but I don't think that the uncles would just speak because you're a youngster coming behind the imam for no reason. Maybe you are doing some harm, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Is it mandatory to divide the Udhiya into 3 parts? No, it's not mandatory. It is recommended. Some of the companions recommended it, but it's not mandatory. You eat a little bit of it, and then if you wish to give it all, or to keep most of it and give a bit to the poor, or you divide it into 3, which is the best thing to do, but it's not mandatory.